Our next guest tragically lost his only child, Jonathan, at age 16. Now Ron Kelly helps other men in particular overcome their own tragic losses as a member of Le Bonheur Children's Hospital Parent Advisory Council and 3 national grief support organizations.
And Ron is also the author of 3 inspirational books for men about overcoming grief. Sometimes I Cry in the Shower, The Griefcase, and Grief Healings 365. Ron, welcome to Live at 9. Good to see you this morning.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I was reading something just this morning about grief, and the quote was, "Grief is a feeling like being in a tunnel, but with no end in sight."
Exactly.
How do you categorize it?
Well, and a lot of the work that I enjoy doing, what really gives me the gratitude is allowing others to realize that there is an end. With the grief, there's never going to be a complete healing to it. We'll never heal completely, nor do we want to heal completely. There's parts of that grief that we always want to hold on to, that longing and sorrow for your child or your spouse. But there is a move forward. There's what we call the new normal, or a new blueprint for your life. So a lot of what I get so much satisfaction out of is actually talking with others and letting them realize there is a plan for your life. There's a purpose beyond this catastrophic loss. And I deal with so many other parents like me who've lost children, and there really is no bigger tragedy in life than to lose a child.
Can't imagine.
It's not the natural order of things.
Right.
So there's so much despondency after that, immediately after that, until they realize that there still is a life of peace and purpose.
What about the difference, though, the grief that men experience as opposed to women?
Right, and I think we'd mentioned the old men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
Yeah.
Part of my studies that I went through, I realized I've renamed that entirely to When Planets Collide, because there is such a
That'll
difference.
be book 4.
Yes, but men, of course, are more internal, and women are more external. Women tend to actually show their grief, where men grieve equally, we just grieve internally versus on the outside.
And so, is this why couples, often the death of a child splits couples up?
Well, if I may, and that's part of what I enjoy speaking with people about, because I've gone back on the data, and what you find out is there's a knee-jerk reaction that when you lose a child, it could lead to a separation or problems in a relationship, when in fact only 15% of the parents that experience child loss divorce, and then they find out that the majority of those 15% are actually because there were underlying reasons even before the loss of a child.
So it was just a crack that really... So, but what problems can it cause? Because if women and men grieve differently, there may be a lack of understanding.
There is, and fortunately, I'll say this, the end result is love always holds them together. But during the hard times, after the loss, what you experience is, quite frankly, I'm an organizer. It's part of our DNA as men who we are. We organize, we systemize, we have to do things.
Solutions-based.
We need to be solutions-based. And while we're trying to do that, you're externally expressing your grief, and you're crying. And I hate to say it so bluntly like that, but most men will go, well, I can't get things done because she's crying so much.
Right.
And you're looking at me going, why aren't you crying?
Right.
Do you not love the child? And that leads to some immediate... Again, love overcomes that eventually, but it leads to immediate problems.
So how do we, not to oversimplify it, get to this point of better understanding of what I might be going through or what she might be going through?
Well, each person, and there's some phrases that we use, and one of them is snowflakes and fingerprints. No matter whether you're a man or a woman, we're all going to grieve differently in one way or another. So as you process that, as you go out and try to get support and you move forward, some of that you leave behind. You leave behind the fact that there were some problems early on in the grief, what we call the grief journey or the grief healing. Eventually all that goes away and you come back to where you were in a relationship again, but it is tough early on.
But in the meantime, there's help if you're a man and grieving and don't know how to share it and can't seem to find the end of that tunnel.
Yes.
There's help. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure.